Okay, so welcome to another video, and in this edition we're just going to be focusing on the charts. So just having a look at a couple of charts here in the sort of rough and tumble of Excel. And so these charts all appeared in the latest edition of the weekly macro themes. And so the first one that we're going to look at here is all about global equities. And really what this video is about is having a look at some of these charts that identified for global equities where there's sort of near and pressing downside risk being presented from the breadth indicators. And so first chart here is the 50-day moving average breadth indicator for global equities. This is looking across 70 different countries, the main benchmark indexes, and looking at the percentage of which are above the 50-day moving average. And so what you're seeing here in the chart is a classic case of breadth divergence, so bearish breadth divergence. You've got breadth deteriorating while price is heading up, and this is starting to roll over now. And the reason why this has any significance, it's not just some magical signal. It's usually this will roll over because you're seeing weakness in a few markets, and often that will actually be reflecting some underlying economic or macro risks that are presenting themselves. So it can be a pretty good warning sign. The next one I wanted to look at was so 52-week new highs minus new lows, and as you can see here, it's pretty clear that it's rolling over after having been pretty strong. And again, it's pretty much the same kind of scenario. Oftentimes with these indicators, the signal comes from when they hit an extreme, like in this one, and then revert back from that extreme. And so, I guess when you look at something like this, when it's subtracting one from the other, you always want to have a look at what's actually driving that. And you look at the 52-week new highs, it's mostly being driven by this. You can see that it's clearly rolled over, and that's what you call this is a classic case of a loss of momentum. So you can see very powerful momentum as that last really strong run happened. Now that's already all coming out of it. Certainly, you look over at 52-week new lows, and it's barely registering. To be fair, this indicator usually only really spikes, after you've actually had a full correction or sell-off, and usually it's actually a pretty good signal for picking the bottoms there. You can see tends to light up around market lows. So that's actually one that we'll be keeping a close eye on in the weeks ahead. But the other one I wanted to look at was the volatility one. So this is what I've put together as global average volatility, implied volatility index. So you could almost call it the global VIX. And so you've got that overlaid against the MSCI All Countries World Index, sort of your main global benchmark there, and you can see that it's pretty much registering some very much complacent levels there. And so pairing that with the other two charts, it just shows you not only is there complacency, but there's also some warning signs in there in the breadth indicators. But always like to examine something from many different angles and bring in the different perspectives. And you look at this one here. This is what I call I've got an earnings acceleration tracker. You could call it the global equities earnings accelerometer. And this blue line is the number or the percentage of countries with their forward earnings growth, year-on-year growth exceeding 10%. And so first comment would be, you look at the period prior to the crisis, it was the rule of thumb, most countries were seeing earnings growth above 10%, and post-crisis it's been most countries less than 10% earnings growth. But you've had a breakout there recently, and that's something that's quite key, because it's tending to confirm that price action there with actual improvement in the fundamentals. And if we do get a decent sell-off or correction and nothing happens to this, this keeps going, then that's the kind of situation that you don't want to be just panicking. You want to be looking at these indicators, looking at the fundamentals, and also looking at those previous two charts that I showed you. You want to be looking for volatility to actually go into panic modes, which again that usually does around the bottom, and you want to be looking for the new lows, new 52-week lows to spike. And so when and if those signals do light up, you can guarantee that they'll be appearing in the weekly macro themes publication. So make sure that you do get on and check that publication out. it is a subscription service, but it's had very good feedback so far that it's highly useful in terms of generating ideas and flagging risks. And I guess this is a pretty good taste test of what we have to offer. So thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Any questions, complaints, suggestions, please put them into the comments section below, and thank you very much.